Story 1. I just went through the most intensive year-long battle fighting stage for B. Hodgkin's lymphoma. I won. Story 2. Dealing with my 8-year-old daughter. The real problem is time. Feels like all I have is work, and I dislike it intensely. Story 3. I am 26 years old. My best friend needs a new liver, and I found out I am not a good donor match because my body mass index is too high. I am struggling to lose weight in time. Story 4. I am being evicted from my rental, and I don't earn enough to buy anything. The rental market is terrible. Story 5. I am 26 and going blind due to a genetic degenerative eye disorder. I am in the final stages of treatment and hoping to get ahead of it now. Story 6. Post-traumatic stress disorder resulting from an abusive family and the mental and physical health issues it caused significantly impacted my life. Story 7. I just received an autism diagnosis and realized my entire life has been a facade. I am currently trying to discover who I am and what I want, even though I am already married with a child and a mortgage. It is challenging, to say the least. Story 8. I am 65, soon to be 66, and I live alone with nobody to talk to, despite being from a family of about 50 people. I see my 17-year-old son every 2 weeks and talk to him for a few minutes each day. Story 9. Old enough to know better, young enough to still make mistakes. As for problems, I am probably just figuring out what to eat for dinner. Story 10. I am 17, and the biggest problem I am currently facing is a lack of discipline, or you could say procrastination. Story 11. I am still living with my parents because everything is too expensive and no jobs cover the cost of living. I dislike it here. Story 12. I am 60 years old. In the last few months, I have faced some major issues with my house, and yesterday I lost my job. I will need to sell my home and buy a camper, which isn't so bad. I plan to reinvent myself as I try to heal from my husband's death nearly 3 years ago. Story 13. A huge workload I can't manage, and no help has come despite my requests since February. I am on the verge of burnout, experiencing frequent crying spells in the restroom, and I am scared because these moments usually lead me back into depression. I am trying to avoid overtime since it is unpaid. Story 14. Health or the fear of losing it. I have type 2 diabetes and I continue to fight my belly fat. One serious illness could leave me financially devastated or worse. Close behind is Social Security, which provides my retirement income. Story 15. I am 30 years old and I had a pulmonary embolism last month. I am trying to focus on recovery and manage my finances, but it has been a struggle. Story 16. When to have children, how to secure my finances for the future, and staying healthy while working in an office job. Story 17. I'm 39, turning 40 in a few months. My biggest problem at the moment is that 3 of my 6 kids are teenagers, and the hormones in this house are overwhelming. Story 18. Living on a 15,000 PHP budget, around $300 a month, is challenging, especially since I pay for everything, including bills and electricity. I don't go out or eat out, so I'm basically surviving on processed foods. My health is declining, which heavily affects my academic performance. Story 19. I am 16, and honestly, not much has changed. I have an education, a supportive family, good friends, and I am healthy. Probably my biggest problem is that I have no one to hug. Story 20. Excruciating arthritis is challenging. Many people endure worse, but being in constant pain takes a toll on you. Story 21. I am 35 years old and financially struggling. I am a mother of 3, 2 of whom are autistic and have high needs. My husband and I both work. 4 years ago, we were optimistic and doing well, even as a lower middle-class family. However, circumstances have changed dramatically. His brother passed away, which required time off work. I also had to take time off for my cervical cancer diagnosis and subsequent hysterectomy. Our car needed repairs, our kitchen flooded, and I am at home more with our youngest due to budget cuts affecting personal care assistance. My husband works 50 to 60 hours a week while we deal with inflation, and we have accumulated debt from using credit for groceries and utilities during recovery periods. We have dental work that we need done, as dental care has become a luxury item despite the severe pain from infections. We are also facing medical debt, and our insurance premiums have increased for our house, car, and medical expenses. We feel as though we are on the brink of losing everything. This is the reality of the American dream. Story 22. Life is not what I wanted it to be. It's more than just the biggest problem. It's a deluge of all the significant issues coalescing at this moment in my life. I am in another country without my child. I have a good relationship with my ex, but it doesn't feel safe for me to be in my home country because I am transgender. Lately, it's starting to feel unsafe almost everywhere. I just want to work, but I need to find a job that offers a visa. I wish I could go back to school. I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and the disorder aspect is very real. It's not enjoyable. I have to confront my internalized ableism because the fact that I can't modulate my attention sometimes makes me feel suicidal for not being productive. I have $500 left. I'm tired. But I also have moments of happiness, and I have found joy in cooking again. I'm trying to start a gender-neutral bathroom project so people can present it to their local establishments to help make gender and restrooms not a significant discussion. I have a place to stay for a while until I get back on my feet, and a pigeon hung out on my shoulder the other day and did not poop on me. So, Story 23. At 33 years old and with fatty liver, I faced the choice of not changing my lifestyle and possibly dying at 40, or radically changing my life to live a longer one. I chose the latter. Story 24. Time is currently my biggest problem. Between work, my girlfriend, hobbies, chores, cooking, sleep, and visiting my parents, I feel stretched thin and am not giving any of these things the time they need. Story 25. Money, of course, doesn't matter my age. It has been that way since I needed money. Depression, loss, and anger are present. Story 26. I am 32 and in remission from breast cancer, which isn't the problem. The problem is that now that treatment is completed, my entire brain and body feel different to me. While my friends and peers are getting pregnant, I find myself telling the pharmacist, "No, I'm not pregnant and don't plan on it." Every time I pick up my estrogen blocker, even though I am not pregnant and can't plan on it because of the estrogen blocker and the risk of recurrence. Thanks for asking. What about you? Story 27. Grandma is dying of cancer, my mother is in therapy, and my father is sick and permanently disabled. I don't know what to do with my life. I have no money and no family of my own. Story 28. I am 20 years old, and it is the point in the semester where I have 3 assignments due at once, so I am feeling really stressed about that. Additionally, I have a birthday party on Saturday, which coincides with the day I am scheduled to work on election day. I am also undergoing treatment for hair loss, and I am concerned it is not effective, and that I may need to take medication I am uncomfortable with. Story 29. I will be fine after my son gets out of daycare. Those daycare payments are causing financial strain for my wife and me. Story 30. I can't truly feel emotions, which makes it difficult to enjoy intimate connections. I can't feel love, and the chances are I will never have a relationship or get married because of it. It's a fate worse than death that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Story 31. Pain in my back. I'm on strong painkillers for a damaged vertebra, but they stop my back from spasming. They don't stop the chronic pain. It's tiring. Story 32. 77. Biggest problem? I'm 77. When did that happen? Almost everyone I ever met who was 77 also had one foot in the grave. Me? I'm fine. Everything works more or less. Memory is getting a little twisted. I have gray hair and a gray beard, but that's about it. My face is fine. My body looks about the way it did 20 years ago. Now that I think of it, it's even better. I don't eat as much. So my problem is that I don't have the expected issues. My dad was experiencing physical decline at this age. My spouse, who is my age and looks pretty sharp, has me hiking 3 or 4 miles in the woods just about every other day. Yeah, I know. This reads like I'm bragging. But honestly, I'm just astonished. As a rule, people my age now were on their last legs. Am I the norm now? Since when? Probably not. I see lots of people my age or younger who are struggling. I've been an atheist all my life. Why am I being awarded this health? By whom? Do I have to acknowledge a higher power now? Yeah, that'll be the day my lungs collapse. Play it as it lies. If you can't complain, then don't complain. Go for a walk. Who knew that was a higher power's will? Story 33. Not knowing if I should quit my job and take on smaller jobs around Europe while I travel slowly, or if I will regret that decision terribly. Story 34. 26. Mostly financial. Finding a job with salary or benefits increases over the years of working. I still doubt whether to continue my studies due to financial complexities. However, living after my 30s, finding a job without a degree will be harder. Story 35. Hoping the coming stock market crash doesn't affect my retirement. But I love my job, have amazing colleagues, and a family I'd do anything for. So I'm doing pretty well. Story 36. Getting the economy to work and studies to succeed. I am happy I do not have a child at the moment. It would be too stressful. Story 37. I am 42, working at a job that has become more mentally demanding than physically demanding, while still being very physically demanding. All I really want to do is be at home hanging out with my wife and my 3- and 5-year-old children. My dilemma is that I manage 2 adults who act like children, and I'm burning out faster than I can keep up with the interference of corporate upper management. They always ask for more, but do not provide additional support staff. I am not allowed to hire additional people, nor will they hire anyone, yet I am often told I need to keep up with the rest of the company, which is admittedly better staffed. I have asked for a demotion twice so I can accept less pay and abandon the responsibilities of lower management, but I have been denied both times. When I get home, I am starting to notice a pattern of aggression in my children. I believe they are feeling neglected because I am so worn down by the time I arrive that I fall asleep almost instantly, and I barely have the strength to pick them up and give them a hug. Yesterday was the first time I ever broke a promise. We received free tickets to the zoo, but there was so much work that I had to stay to try to catch up. I manage a distribution center and staffing should really be more appropriate, but that seems irrelevant because they are making money. I often hear, other locations are bigger, so they need more staff than your warehouse does, when I ask upper management for support. The problem is we are centrally located, so every other store and distribution center relies heavily on us. My vacation balance is already at 80 hours, and it does not accumulate beyond that. When I request time off, the response is, we first have to figure out how we will replace you while you're away. Let's focus on that. Salary feels like a scam. Management can decide at any time to give me additional hours without additional pay due to the fixed income structure. Just typing this makes me tired. I feel like this showed up in my feed because I needed to vent. Thank you. I should get back to work. Story 38. Autoimmune and sometimes fatigued. I feel overworked. I need a new job, but I don't know what I can do other than teaching. Story 39. 55-year-old daughter left her husband and took off because she says she is not bisexual. Now she identifies as transgender but won't talk to anyone to know we are supportive of anything she chooses. Story 40. I need a job with a steady income and a vehicle to commute to work, as I do not live along a public bus line. Additionally, I need a working cell phone, as my last one was stolen. Story 41. I am trying to find and cure the source of my chronic gastric pain. I have been experiencing this pain for 5 years now. Story 42. I was laid off 2 months ago, and I am homeless as of May 22nd. Yes, I had a significant amount of savings. This layoff was unexpected and without warning. They walked 88 of us out the same day. I lost my insurance, and as a type 1 diabetic needing a couple of medically necessary procedures, I had to pay out of pocket, which depleted my savings. Story 43. A combination of not having a car and living on the outskirts of the city means I have to ask my mother to take me to the bus stops and pick me up from work. Story 44. I am 20 years old and just discovered that my stepmother is hitting my father while trying to convince everyone that he is the one abusing her. This is his third wife who is making these accusations, even though we know that he has never laid a hand on her unless it was in self-defense. Story 45. I have to go back to school to finish my bachelor's degree, while also being pregnant and soon having a baby to take care of. I can't wait on school anymore due to job reasons. The stress and fear are real. Story 46. Next month, I have debilitating chronic back pain, including a herniated disc, spinal cord compression, and nerve pain. I am looking into surgery, but I don't want a fusion, which is what my neurosurgeon recommended. I am going to get a second opinion because I believe I need a microdiscectomy. I will be trying radiofrequency ablation therapy next month. I have become addicted to opioids after being on them for a little over 4 years, and my tolerance is so high that I get very little relief. I deliver pizzas and am even struggling to do that some days. Basic household chores are impossible at times. Laundry, dishes, vacuuming, mopping, cooking. I sometimes struggle to take care of personal hygiene because I cannot bend or twist my back as needed. I feel very depressed and like a shell of the person I once was. I have lost all my friends and spend most days in bed. I see no light at the end of this tunnel, only a future filled with pain. I'm still so young, and I'm scared of what my body will be like in my 30s, 40s, and beyond. I feel exhausted. Being in so much pain all the time takes all my mental and physical energy. It drains the life out of me. Everything requires careful planning. Nothing is simple anymore. There's no just getting up, going out, and doing something. It takes so much effort and is painful. I'm so tired, and I don't know what to do with my life. Story 47. I am 31 years old, without a husband or kids, and my friendships feel superficial. I still feel alone, dealing with the same problems I have faced my whole life. Clinical depression and social anxiety. Story 48. Loneliness and employment. If I have a job, I can't see anyone because I'm working every day. If I'm not working, no one wants to see me because everything costs money. No one wants to just sit in the park and talk. People rely on their phones and material possessions. Story 49. I am 30 years old. I am waiting to hear if I have cervical cancer. My 6-month-old is getting surgery next week. I am facing financial issues. I think my partner has cheated on me and has serious struggles with addiction, even after I threatened to leave and gave ultimatums. Story 50. I am 36 years old, and my biggest problem is steroid treatment for severe kidney issues. I have 38 days left until I reduce my steroid dosage to a reasonable 5 milligrams per day, down from the 60 milligrams per day I was taking in February. I am not enjoying this process at all. Story 51. I am 32, and my biggest problem is dating. I encounter people who are not serious, and I often feel it's better to be alone than to take on the role of a caretaker for someone. Story 52. The bubbling aches and pains of getting old. It's hard to believe this once hardcore punk is now 62. So strange. Story 53. I am in my 30s and facing financial challenges. The mortgage keeps me awake at night because I doubt I will be able to pay it off in my lifetime. Story 54. All my money combined goes to rent and cost of living expenses. I'm almost homeless once again. Just when I get ahead on some savings, life hits. The usual situation. So money is my biggest problem at the moment. Story 55. I found out by accident that my job is being eliminated, and my boss is unaware that I know. Apparently, they are waiting until the last moment to inform me. I am scrambling and applying to many jobs, hoping I do not end up unemployed, depleting my savings, and possibly losing my home. Story 56. I worry too easily about accidentally straining my relationships with others, so I try to make it up to them. Story 57. I am transgender male to female but still in the closet. I tried to come out but was pushed back in. It is frustrating to discover that it's illegal to simply exist in the United States. I am battling mental health problems due to trauma from a young age. I recently learned that my sister's ex assaulted her, and she keeps justifying it. I am madly in love with a girl who can be a handful, and even though she is an adult, her parents control her every move. I was pulled out of school just before my junior year and missed out on significant milestones. I had to skip senior prom because the girl I love's parents are way too strict, and I didn't find out what was happening until the day before. I won't get to graduate, which has always been my dream. Additionally, my dog passed away last month. I feel like the world hates me. Story 58. I quit my toxic job last year and found an amazing new position. It offers better pay, a shorter commute, and fewer hours per week. Today, we were informed that the plant will be gradually shut down over the next 24 months. Please don't make me go through that awful application process in the automated world again. Story 59. I just found out that our house has significant mold, and it is making us sick, so now we cannot live in it. Story 60. I have many things I want to accomplish, but I do not have enough time, which makes me feel overwhelmed and increases my stress. Story 61. I hate my job. I have 14 years of industry experience and have been applying for jobs for about 1 year. I have had several interviews, but I have not had any success. I feel stuck in a rut and frustrated about it. Story 62. I will likely get fired soon for being incompetent. The news made me feel so bad that I almost broke up with my partner. I didn't have a clue how to handle it. It's the first time for everything, right? Story 63. My biggest problem is that I will probably live at least another 30 years. I would really rather not. I am done. Unfortunately, every time I try to take an early exit, fear prevents me. So I guess, in reflection, fear is my biggest problem. Story 64. I am 38 years old and currently taking care of my elderly in-laws while we live in a shed in their backyard. I am trying to run a business and work part-time to manage our finances. Story 65. Late 20s. A lifelong struggle with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder has led to chronic depression, and I have been wanting to leave this world for over a decade. Yet, in pursuit of happiness, I have accumulated various responsibilities over my lifetime, and I cannot, with good conscience, leave all of that to be someone else's burden. I will not make my mother go through the loss of her eldest child. So here I am, waiting for either a freak accident to happen or an early death from natural causes caused by unhealthy habits. I have been waiting for over a decade, and I am tired, boss. If everything goes my way, I am middle-aged now. Story 66. After 23 years, my wife left, taking the kids and the dog. She gets the house, and I am moving in with my parents. I just put a new roof on the house with my last penny as a desperate attempt to take care of them. I have given my whole life. I don't know how to live for myself. Really? I guess I will learn. Story 67. My children are in their early 20s and still at university, unable to afford to move out. Both have significant student debt and will likely never own their own home. They probably won't have children. By my age, my mother had no children left at home and was a grandmother. She and my father traveled overseas every year and were having the time of their lives. By my children's ages, I was married, working full-time, had a mortgage, and was considering starting a family. It feels like my children are never going to be able to take that step forward and move on. This situation is holding my husband and me back. Story 68. My biggest current issue is postpartum depression. I have bipolar disorder, and although my psychiatrist and I planned ahead in case I experienced postpartum depression, nothing prepared me for the state of confusion, frustration, and emotional and mental turmoil that sometimes overtakes me. Story 69. I started thinking about my problems, but the list turned out to be so long that I couldn't even identify the main one right away. Story 70. Dealing with gender dysphoria every day of my life is awful. I just want to transition and be a girl, but I have to wait until I am 18 for estrogen. I am so done with it. Also, I will be out of commission for about 2 months this year because I am getting surgery for a hernia and to have a rod placed in my leg where my cancer was. Story 71. Honestly, my biggest problem, emotionally and somewhat financially, is my Maine Coon with a chronic injury. It's heart-wrenching, and it's hard for me to travel and leave him. I know I'm lucky that this is my biggest problem. If you had asked me that question even 10 years ago, it would have been difficult to choose just one problem. The years from 22 to 40 were hard. Story 72. I lost my job and spent all my savings to care for my dying mother. My husband yells when I kiss him. My mom was rejected when she tried to live with me, and we just fought during the few months she was here. All my money is gone, and my husband and I are on the verge of divorce. Story 73. Everyone left me due to my personality disorder, and no therapist wants to help me because they think I am not stable enough for outpatient therapy. Story 74. I am 33 and in a unique situation where I am learning Swedish. I will complete my studies in January. I need to move out of my house in November 2026. I require a permanent contract to secure a new place and income. I feel a bit stuck, but we will see what happens. Story 75. I'm trying to secure a new apprenticeship because my current trainer is very difficult to work with. Story 76. I am 27 and feeling overwhelmed by my perceived lack of purpose and direction in life, experiencing what my sister describes as a quarter-life crisis. Story 77. I'm 18 and broke. The only job I could get is minimum wage for 20 hours a week. I'm trying to find another one, but it's difficult. Story 78. I didn't take good care of my teeth as a child, and I will be paying for it in the coming years. Additionally, there are concerns about rising authoritarianism. Story 79. I am 53 years old and have been unemployed for about a year. We will run out of savings in approximately 8 months. The job market in my field is very challenging at the moment. I both hope and worry about the future. Story 80. I went back to school during the pandemic and am now struggling to pay rent and bills. Even though I make more money now, things have just become so expensive. Story 81. I am experiencing significant hip pain. I underwent minor surgery yesterday, and the discomfort has been quite intense as I recover. Additionally, my finances will be affected since I will be out of work for a month, and short-term disability only covers a percentage of my salary. Story 82. Almost 40. The biggest problem at the moment is that I am unable to find a job, yet I still have bills to pay. The fact that I am renting a room from someone for $20 a day says enough in itself. I feel like I am never going to get out of this hole. How did I even get here? Story 83. I am 18 years old and feeling overworked. I do landscaping and work at Lowe's where I get 40 hours a week, and I often work over 40 hours a week in landscaping, depending on the weather. I am burnt out and also care for over 10 pets at home. I live with my mother but do not want to live in an apartment. My goal is to buy a house without a mortgage by 30 at the latest. Most days, I come home tired and in tears, working from 6 in the morning to nearly 11 at night. Story 84. Homeowners insurance has non-renewed our policy for 2025. No one is writing policies for our zip code. We found an East Coast carrier that would cover the risk, but they canceled us due to the age of the roof and a tree hanging over the house. We have a roofer and tree service coming to fix both in a few weeks, and the carrier will most likely reinstate our policy. Story 85. I am 27. My boyfriend is a recovering drug addict. He recently relapsed after 4 months of being clean and ended up in prison. I am so worried about him. We talked today, and he admitted that he is not as strong as he thought he was and that he only managed to stay clean by isolating himself. The moment drugs were around, he just couldn't say no. I love this man dearly. He is amazing, and I know he will get better because there is constant progress, even though it is not linear. I am just concerned about him. Story 86. My youngest is now 7, which means I can get a job outside the home again. However, my anxiety after not working for 15 years while raising my children is a challenge for me. I have a teaching degree but no desire to use it. I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life. Story 87. I am currently in a challenging work situation with a difficult boss who is purposely targeting me. I always feel anxious and cautious. However, I have a supportive partner and great therapist, so I will get through this. Story 88. Sports betting is costing me a significant amount of money that could be used for more important things, including paying off my credit card debts. Story 89. I realized I was raised by narcissists. Now I'm trying to discover myself beyond the image my parents created for me. It's not too much of a problem. Dealing with the pain is difficult, but the self-discovery is actually quite nice. I feel more free in a way. Story 90. I'm 27 years old, and my healthcare is at risk because many people do not understand what being transgender actually means. They often get their information from unreliable and sometimes harmful sources. Story 91. I am 27 years old, and my brother was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer earlier this year. He is my only sibling, and I do not have any first cousins. Other family members have health issues, and I am deeply afraid that I will be the only one left sooner than I would like. I have my husband and friends to lean on, but I am unsure what I will do without my family. They have always been there for me. I cannot imagine life without them. Story 92. I would say the lack of money is at the root of all my problems, and I could use a good 8 hours of sleep. Story 93. I already have type 1 diabetes, insulin sensitivity therapy, Graves' disease, and psoriasis. I am currently waiting to see if I have celiac disease and skin cancer. My body needs to relax. Story 94. I am 42 years old and have had severe diarrhea for 4 months. I cannot sleep for more than 2 hours without needing to use the restroom, and I have already lost 20 kilograms. I still have no idea what is causing this. Story 95. I am 50 years old, and I just started training for a job I know nothing about and never thought I would have an interest in. Yesterday was the first day, and it went by quickly. I am not sure I can keep up. Story 96. Taking care of my elderly parents who do not show concern for others, especially my wife and child. Story 97. My 28-year-old girlfriend's problems are my biggest concerns, along with what's for dinner. I signed up for it, I guess. Story 98. I am 18 years old and either recovering from schizophrenia or I have dissociative identity disorder. I will be referred to an assessment clinic soon. Story 99. I will turn 22 this year. Money would be the first thing, yes, and I will graduate this year and pursue a master's degree away from my hometown. The problem is that I still don't think I have the required level of maturity and emotional stability for my age. I will be away from home for the first time, and I don't know how things will turn out. Living alone, handling everything by myself. That would be a significant challenge, but I guess with time, I will manage and be able to accomplish many things I can't do now without help from others. Story 100. I was just diagnosed with kidney stones. I have had them for a month, and now I must wait another month for them to be treated. I noticed something was wrong after my body pump class. I thought it was cancer because I didn't have any pain at first. The pain appeared yesterday, and it is intense. Story 101. My cousin and best friend passed away a little under 2 months ago. I was fortunate enough to not understand grief intimately until now. It is all-consuming, and I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Story 102. I feel disenfranchised and disenchanted with life right now. I don't know what I'm doing or my life path anymore. Nothing feels significant, even the things I supposedly liked. I feel alone, in debt, lost, and confused. My mind is foggy. Time is blending together. This past week, I genuinely had no idea what day it was and couldn't find any reference points to figure it out. At one point, I refused to check my phone because I didn't really care. I went to college after high school and joined the military afterward. I've seen a lot of people die and experienced many losses. I was always there for others when they were down and out, always full of hope and optimism, with plans and logical solutions for everything. I used to have my life together, with clear goals and backup plans, serving as the rock to help everyone get on the right path. Ironically, everyone else seems to be doing okay now. They have significant others, got married, and so on. The irony is that everything feels reversed. I am the one who is down and out, and life has piled on more challenges over time. Yet, I have no one to turn to, no rock. I don't have a partner to share my thoughts with during this struggle. I just don't know anymore. Story 103. I am 40 years old, with lower back arthritis since I was 17. I love going to the gym, working out, playing tennis and basketball, but I can't do any of these activities because of my back issue. I also enjoy food, so the older I get, the easier it is for me to gain weight. Currently, I feel quite heavy. Story 104. I am concerned about when my child will start school in 5 years. Education was not valuable for me. How will it be after significant changes are made? Story 105. I will be 41 next month. I dislike my job, but I am good at it and well compensated for my work. Additionally, I have some stability at the moment. I feel unhappy and want to make a change, but I am afraid to do so, especially considering the current state of the economy and the world. Story 106. At 30, I constantly fear that I and those I love will face treatment being taken away. I worry about the possibility of laws legalizing discrimination against us, and the potential for being victims of a final solution for simply being transgender. Story 107. I have mental health issues, and I am struggling not to let it get really bad again or start hurting myself 3 weeks before my exams begin. Story 108. I live in the United States, and my fiancé is Hispanic and works in medical research funded by the National Institutes of Health, which is facing significant budget cuts. We are trying to figure out where to go because it seems we may need to leave the country if things continue as they are. Story 109. We have managed to buy a house, so my biggest problem right now is packing. It's challenging, but it's a good problem to have. Story 110. I have a bulging disc pressing on the nerves that supply my right leg. It has been bothering me for 5 months now. I received a steroid injection in my back, and it helped a little. Story 111. Marriage is falling apart. It's really over, but we are just too afraid to admit it. I am far away from my elderly parents, unemployed, and completely broke. I know you're looking for the main issue, but everything has piled up on top of each other, creating a messy situation that I find myself in. I am not even sure why I am here on this earth. It feels like I am trapped in a bad movie that keeps getting worse, yet I cannot look away. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.